But what we want this to be like, whoever's out there is the fifth person in the room.
Of course.
So as you're listening to it in the gym or in your car, you feel like you're a part of the conversation. And I always said I want this to be like the Wu-Tang of podcasts. I want everyone here to have a different perspective. Someone will be someone you can identify to. Someone will remind you of your dad, your brother, your son, your mate from down the pub, your mate from... And that's what I want it to be. I want it to be, when we first come up with the idea, 4 different people, different upbringings, everything, but the same goal of talking about our struggles and victories. Hello, this is Black Country Blokes chewing the fat.
Listen.
I've been hearing a lot lately about men don't talk, but in my experience, men do talk, just people aren't listening. So it's going to be me and a group of blokes discussing our struggles and victories through life. Warning, there may be some bad language, so apologies to all the moms, especially my own. Let's get going.
Listen.
This is Black Country Blokes chewing the fat. With me, Kev Dillon, Craig Pinches, Lee Cadman and Aaron Jew. Today what we're going to be talking about is body image. Now, body image can, as many degrees, it can be within body dysmorphia, it can be just vanity. Like the other day I went to the eye hospital and I've had lazy eyes since I had meningitis and it's progressively got worse. It basically, the brain's sending the eye messages, but the eye hasn't worked for that long, it's not working, just getting lazier and lazier. And the doctor said I could have an operation. After 33 years, I can finally have an operation. And I've been pondering the idea, thinking, do I actually want it? Am I that vain? And I've decided to go for this operation because even if the operation isn't successful, it's not like it can make my blind eye any worse. But I was thinking, am I vain? And I've never considered myself to be vain. However, it makes me uncomfortable. So has anyone else got any little things that makes them uncomfortable about their physical appearance?
It's going to be loads there. Where do you start? Exactly, where do you start? I mean, I grew up an ugly kid. Not a lot's changed actually. I grew up with the big National Elf glasses and the buck teeth and the freckles and the bad haircut. Sorry, Mum, but it was a bad haircut. You know, so... Did
your mum used to cut your hair for you?
Yeah,
mine
did. And then they went through a fad where you keep your fringe.
Yeah.
We won't go there, like. But yeah, like, and I think that carries on. But there is a word for it, and I can't. It was on the telly a long time ago. There's a word for it, even though, let's say you've got a cold sore, let's say you got something, where to you it's like this massive thing, but to the world they don't notice it. And there is a word for it, and for the life, and I can't think of what the word's called. It's like a condition that people actually suffer, where you actually feel that something looks a lot worse than it is, and it knocks your self-confidence, and it knocks... I can't remember what the word, but with me, mate, there's loads.
But people have that, don't they? They go like, I'm short, so I don't think women will like me, or my ears are big, and then you meet sort of like your immediate group, teach on it, don't they? Ah, you're big ear twat, or oh, you're short ass. But then when you actually get out of your group, you say, I've got big ears. Really, I wouldn't have noticed. But you've been bullied on it for so long, you've made a big thing about it.
See, every time I go to the dentist every 3 to 6 months for a checkup, and they tell me all that. And I had braces as a kid. I had to have braces. I think I had them off when I was 16, 17. And I went, not last year or the year before, and I asked them whether there was anything more they could do, you know, the incognito ones, and straighten your teeth. And they looked at me like I was crazy. Yeah. They said, yeah, you got to, like, there's a gap in your teeth, but there's nothing them straight as they're never going to go. And the dentist lady said to me, I said, no, I prefer your kind of smile, a big smile. Yeah. But to me, I look at it as, fuck me. And it takes so much vanity. I pretty much don't really care what people think of me. And I know a lot of people say that, but I don't as such. But it's how I feel comfortable and how I don't feel comfortable.
I think sometimes it's not like the vanity, it's the experience of being teased on it. And you don't want to relive that feeling of bringing those childhood traumas. Yeah. And that's what they are. Because this word that gets thrown around all the time, oh, it's only banter. It's banter, mate, it's banter.
Yeah.
But really, banter's when you're both laughing. But when you're that kid at the back,
it's teasing.
And you're being teased and teased, that scars you at a young age. Like a physical scar, you know, it's a medal of honour. That mental scar, for God's sake, don't bring that up, please. that traumatises you.
See, I remember when I was in primary school, and it must have been year 5-ish, give or take. And there's this girl, and like obviously, like so I had worse teeth than this before I had my braces and that. And when I used to laugh because obviously being in primary school and I got picked on in primary school, I used to like fold my lips over my teeth and laugh like that.
Yeah.
And I used to take the piss out of me rotten like that. And I used to think, and I think, like you say, that's what I carry along with me now.
It's not the vanity, I'm going to go and be a model.
Oh no, I
It's
don't want
just-
to be Joey Essex or Love Island contestant or anything. You know, I don't, none of that. It's,
Sorry, girls.
yeah, and some boys. But it's how, I think it's how you're comfortable.
Yeah.
So your body image, like some might look at you and think, bloody hell, strapping lad, you know what I mean, good looking lad, but you're going to be sitting there picking yourself apart.
Yeah.
You know, and it is horrible.
Well, that analogy of the teeth, I had the same thing, so I had braces as well. And I always used to smile, but I'd never make sure my teeth would show when smiling. And I ended up having like, I think 9 injections, I had 4 teeth out. Completely straightened them. I still got 1 now, because you know when they give you the retainer at the end?
Yes.
I stopped putting it in.
Yeah,
I've started noticing it again on videos that my bottom tooth is crooked. But as a child, I mean, I was always doing that, but then when I speak to someone about it, they'll say, we've never noticed it. But that opinion, similar to when you said, the lady at the dentist who said, I like your smile the way it is, it doesn't really mean anything if we're not happy in ourselves.
Exactly.
And that's the issue really, and that's the whole body dysmorphia thing. So even in personal training, I've trained people with like incredible physiques, you know, naturally that you could probably attain, and they just weren't happy because they were looking at what else they could possibly achieve, maybe with enhanced, or they're looking at somebody else who they think, oh, I should be like that. And it's a very, very dangerous place. It is a mental disorder. And I think the more you go into it, it's quite scary because you'll never be enough effectively.
But I think this is like why I want to bring it up, because the media portray it as being a very woman thing, that anorexia and bulimia and all these things. But running a boxing club, I see it so much in the young boys now, because he's a natural 6 stone, but he wants to be 9 stone, 10 stone, and that's not your body type. Or he's a natural super heavyweight, he's never going to be a middleweight. You know, you've got to be who you are. Yes, we can get fitter, yes, we can get more chiseled, but we can't be something that we're not. And I've seen it so much now with these boys, and I think that's why steroids is on such a massive, massive uprise.
It's a bodybuilder's nature as well, isn't it? That, I mean, how many like documentaries have you seen with bodybuilders? And they, you know, if they can't cut up, you look at them and you think, wow. They are a machine. The dedication and the discipline they have to achieve that body. And then you hear them like talk of the depression because they're not as cut as there was last year, and they're not as heavy. And you think, wow, have you seen you in the mirror?
At that point, you can't help that they're being judged anyway. The whole point of bodybuilding is you get up on the stage and you be judged. So
That's a fair point. Actually.
It's like a beauty pageant for big blokes, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
You know,
women do
and
it
for
as well.
women,
But
But it is in that sense, isn't it? You're being judged on your appearance. It's a glorified beauty pageant.
And ultimately, there's only one person can win it. So,
And the problem behind the whole theme is you're looking for the perfect physique, and that word in itself is a
it
dangerous
depends
word.
who's looking.
Because what's perfect,
And
you know, they say perfect's just an ideal. Perfect doesn't necessarily, and like you say, who's looking, what's perfect to you? I mean, they do have, I'm talking of bodybuilding, they do have a set structure on how they're judged, and they symmetry and whatever else.
But I've never really thought about how you lads are bringing it up next. I've always just seen it. But it's not like they're being judged on the strength, how much they can curl, how much.
Certainly,
It is just, I've never really thought about it like that. But it is,
It's strictly like aesthetics, basically.
yeah.
But what can you do? Because like you said, it don't matter what compliments you get paid. You take the rough with the smooth, but you take more notice of the rough.
Of course, always.
You know, so
You have to change your perspective, so you have to kind of strive for progress. Well, this is what I do, rather than perfection.
yeah.
There's a famous coach, actually, boxing coach, Adam Booth, and he was on a podcast the other week, and he said, ignore both. Ignore the haters and ignore the people who are praising you, because it doesn't matter. Neither of them matter.
That's true.
If you're at that point there, you're ignoring both, and you're not tucking by either. So
Well,
you're not
if-
going to
if-
get big-headed, and you're not going to get down. That you're not.
It's very easy to say
It
and very
is.
difficult to do, isn't it?
If you're
It-
in your own
especially
head as
now
well.
with social media and whatever else, that just makes it
Filters and stuff like that, you know, that's another thing. And perspective, like you say, we always bang on about social media and it being a show reel for people's, you know, oh, look at me, yes, I'm on holiday. Well, how's about the other 360 days you spend in rainy Blackpool or whatever? You know, why don't you post that? Why am you doing it on the Greek islands with all the sun? And I think that's a big thing, social media and perspective.
Plus the way you can take a photo. I mean, we've probably all seen it now on social media where you've got a fitness expert who's standing up there with the right lighting and the right and he looks great. Then he'll take another one saying, well, actually, this is what I look like most of the time.
Yeah.
Well, you said that the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, I did the exact same thing. I just took 2 photos within like 10 minutes on myself. One, I was tensing the shit out of myself, had all these filters, used all the Instagram stuff. The other one just completely relaxed. It was actually the post that got the most traction as well, because people are like, wow, that's the truth behind it. But you don't see that. Nobody really shows that, I suppose, online. That's the problem. That's what, when you're training and you're working so hard, you're still looking at this ideal of perfection effectively. So you're not just comparing, which is already a bad thing. You're comparing with almost like fake effectively, yeah. So it's quite dangerous.
It's mad to think that, I mean, we can talk this now, and I'm a bugger for not following our own advice, so whatever we talk about, I can put like an interesting perspective across, but you know, I'm a bugger for not following it, and I'll still tease myself. Like, look at when I do like my freestyle videos and that, they're not one shots. I don't go in there, kill it one shot. No, if you know, if I mess up that word, I'll discern me of that. I'm striving for what I believe to be. It's like the levels I set myself. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that by way of wanting to only create your best. But when it gets to a point where you think, well, that was decent,
But you still
I was at the wrong angle, or you know what I mean, it wore from behind my good side. You know, you start thinking,
maybe change the narrative then and start releasing it all.
Yeah.
Let's see the ones before, because ultimately no one goes out there and does it first great time. You know, the best.
Yeah,
it's always.
and I suppose that separates you, like you did, and you show them that it's not a one-shot kill every time.
I started including bloopers now in the podcast. And
Luckily we don't have to do that one, do we? This?
I mean, it's just a whole array of bloopers here. Honestly, it works. And I did one podcast, I think it was episode 77. The reason I know that is because some lady actually messaged me today saying, I'm listening to this and I resonated really like loads with it basically. And she goes, because I did it in one take, so there was a couple of errors in there, a couple of R's that I would normally cut out. There was a bit where I just completely went off the topic and then kind of came back in a roundabout way. And she appreciated that. But I recognise that more so when I look at some of the greatest speakers in the world. Now, take away the top 10, but generally speaking, the influencers like The Rock, and I think I mentioned this previously, go back and watch any of The Rock's videos on Instagram, anyone watching this today. He says the word about probably 100 times within 3 minutes, but you don't notice it. He's The Rock, he's already captivating, and you're just looking for his message. And so often we think that one or that one R is going to derail someone and take them away from the podcast when it's not, because that's just human nature. That's pretty much how we all talk.
I watched the programme on that about the difference between working class and middle class, and they did something very good like that. Because the working class, if they're on an interview, they're not sure where to put their legs. They're not sure if they have to say they're not sure if they're allowed to say bollocks. They're not. But someone who's been brought up in that environment of Eden, what's the university, the public school, Eton.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? The private educated, they're used to doing that, so they know when to F and Jeff, they know when to. Yeah. But when we feel like imposter syndrome, we feel like, going back to that bullied kid again, we're going to get found out. If I say this, or if I don't say the right thing, or if I say, he's going to think I'm thick. Whereas the natural people who do it so brilliantly, they're the ones who captivate us, because they're one of us, but they're one of us who can necessarily say something better than we could.
Yeah.
It's that public etiquette you're talking about there, where they're trained to say this and say that. I mean, like you say, we were just laughing about one of the last ones when you said a few things that ultimately you'd think, shouldn't have said that. But, you know, why not? You know, we're not media trained, and we're real people. You know,
We're definitely not media.
No, 100% not media.
I did media studies though, you know, for 2 years at Sandwich College.
I didn't know that.
But what we want this to be like, whoever's out there is the fifth person in the room.
Of course.
So as you're listening to it in the gym or in your car, you feel like you're a part of the conversation. And I always said I want this to be like the Wu-Tang of podcasts. I want everyone here to have a different perspective. Someone will be someone you can identify to. Someone will remind you of your dad, your brother, your son, your mate from down the pub, your mate from... And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted it to be. When we first come up with the idea, 4 different people, different upbringings, everything, but the same goal of talking about our struggles and victories.
Because when you have to suppress your personality, that leads to mental health issues. So being on this podcast, which is here to raise awareness of it and remove the stigma from it, it'd be kind of odd for us to suppress our personalities, wouldn't it? Yeah. We've seen yours now, though, Kevin.
Yeah, but I am what I am. If you put me in a room full of millionaires, or you put me in a room full of ruffians, I'm still Kevin Dillon.
Yeah.
I'm polite, I don't mean people harm, and I'm out of my own moral compass.
Well, you know, going back to the body dysmorphia and that with you, obviously you mentioned your eyes and that. Is there anything else that you conscious about?
I've always been up and down my weight. I've always, when I was very young, I like in my teens, I was a very fat kid. I was very skinny as a kid, and then I had to go on steroids for my eyes, and I ballooned at like 10 years old. I went from 6 stone to 10.5 stone. Then I went up to like 11, 12, 13. So by the time I was 13, I was 13 stone, really fat, because the steroids knocked me about. And that, getting teased about being very fat and everything. So I always worried about it, that I lost all the weight, got very fit. And but then I used to look at myself thinking, now I'm too skinny. But I could walk past the mirror 3 times. I'd walk past, I was too skinny. I'd walk past the same mirror and I was too fat. You know what I mean? I could literally do that, walk past it and go, oh God, my arms are so skinny. And then I'd walk past and go, oh, but I've got a fatty, and there wasn't no fat on me. But you'd look and you'd think that you'd go back to that fat kid. So I've always been up and down with my mind thinking, yeah, I'm feeling out of my arms now, I'm feeling, I wish I could lose this. I wish I could. And that's always been in my head, my weight.
Do you find weight is kind of a universal angle of attack on yourself, no matter who you are, whether you're male, female, young or old?
It's just a metric that everyone uses, isn't it?
And it tends to be one that you focus a lot of attention on.
See, I don't think I've weighed myself in about a year and a half, 2 years.
But it's not on the kilograms for you, or the pounds or the ounces. It's the pockets of fat, isn't it? That's how you would judge it. It's
so
not
for
like...
me now, well, actually for me, and I try and get this with my clients when I used to do personal training, it's about how you feel. So I want someone to, when they train with me or they train with me, when they leave, they feel better as a result of it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, they might not look better, their physique, but maybe their heart's running better, maybe they got more energy in themselves, their cardiovascular's gone up, for example, they got more strength. And that's how I judge myself. So I never look in the mirror. Now, I've been 5% body fat when I used to train with you. I'm probably about 16% now. It doesn't bother me. I couldn't give a shit, to be honest, whether my abs are showing or not. But I do have that thing where if I'm on like a bad diet for a week or two, then I feel sluggish and I play football and I'm just off the pace. Like I've lost that half a yard. Yeah. And then what I do is I get back in the gym and I just lose that. But again, I'm never weighing myself. I don't even know what my weight is now.
But you're always in the gym, aren't you?
Always. But I train for performance and health. I want my goal is to live as long as I possibly can. Yeah. So it's like, what can I do to put the odds in my favour for that? So that's what I use. But everyone needs to find something that doesn't basically affect their mental health, because we exercise to improve our health effectively. So if you're doing it but then you're beating yourself up straight afterwards, it's counterintuitive. Absolutely, yeah. So what's the point of doing it? So we need to basically do something that gives us a positive impact, and then just leave it there, let that be, and then...
That's a very good point, because I have people up here and they'll want to do the boxing and they're really good, but then they'll beat themselves because they've had a bad spar or they've done something wrong, and you have to say, look, it doesn't matter, this is just class work, this is just a mock exam, it doesn't matter. But then you'll see people, if your hobby isn't fun, find something else.
It's a job then.
It's a job.
See, when I was doing my personal training and that, this is not a shameless plug, by the way, but it was called New Regime Fitness. That was my fitness movement, and I had like a slogan: join New Regime Fitness, achieve your peak physique, instead of the or a peak physique, because everyone's is different. Yours might be smaller than me. You might be happy at 20 stone with a big, you know what I mean? So it's achieve your peak physique,
Absolutely.
when how you feel after. Like you say, I do weigh me every single morning, and I'll be honest, I flutter between 10.3 and 10.7, and I cannot budge off that weight.
Yeah.
You know, I have been 11 stone plus when I was training 10, 12 years back, but like, I can't. But 10.7 is pretty much my base weight. You know what I mean? And I feel it. I start feeling, man, you should be heavier than this. I'm a 31-year-old man. You know what I mean?
But you're just a different body structure to someone else. And
There's body types in that,
body
endomorph, mesomorph, and ectomorph, yeah. Not that, like, some are slim, some are athletically built, and some are larger built, and that's the somatotypes they're called, aren't they? You know, and that's...
I always say to the kids, just remember, you've got to realise what kind of dog you are. Some are Chihuahuas, some are Staffies, some are Great Danes, some are Lurchers, some are Springer Spaniels. But a Doberman can't be a Collie. A Collie can't be a Staffy. So it's just got to be happy with what dog you are. You know what I mean? And it's great. One's a sprinter, one's a hunter, one's a fighter, one's a growler, one's a...
Play to your strengths.
Play to your strengths.
That's it, like, to compare it to dogs and that, I think that's an interesting angle. Because when you look at it like that, it takes all the stress out of it. You think, okay, I'm not a Staffy, I'm a Whippet.
Yeah.
You know, so
There's nothing wrong with being a Whippet.
Nah,
You know what I mean?
make good money, some of
Yeah,
it.
they make good money. Not for me.
But no, like, it's, as we say, it's not just weight. Weight tends to be a big focus.
Well,
Because
I think it's just a number, isn't it? So it's easy to judge, it's easy to not move off, it's easy to see where your progress is going when you've got something that tangible.
Or
a
your
unit
clothes
of
size.
measurement, as you say.
That's it.
Whereas if you're looking in the mirror, you might have got 2 extra inches on your arm, but if you haven't measured it, you look in the mirror, you deceive yourself.
Absolutely.
Oh,
But
actually,
it
looks
goes
no
well.
bigger, or it only...
It goes well to train your mind first, like you say, it's perspective, because you could look in the mirror and then 10 minutes later be in a shitty mood because someone's cut you up, look in the mirror again and have a completely different perspective on yourself. So like you say, it's about altering your perspective.
Just reframe it to move yourself forward rather than beat yourself up effectively.
Well,
Yeah.
Me and Craig have just said, like, mine's like weight and lazy eye and a stigma. He said he was with his teeth. What are your 2 hang-ups physically?
Pretty alright, to be fair.
Oh, you fucking
lie.
man.
Always a sharp in the group.
Yeah, well,
It's not that,
yeah,
don't-
I'm just too good looking.
I'm that person who'll leave the house with his hair messy and everything.
Yeah.
I think there's just more things to worry about. Don't get me wrong, I like to be fitter. You know, I'd like, but
Or then, if you've got the physical image, is there something that you have got to hang up about? If you think of something that's
Do you worry a lot, or
you're
do you?
Oh, yeah.
too
without
short-tempered or
you know,
too...
doubt, or constant worry, but you know, understandably as well. You know, I don't beat myself up about it. I try and get out of it. That's the key to it.
So as opposed to like physiological, is that character traits, you know, personality traits that you might think, you know, I wish I was this, or I wish I was there, or...
More than likely, I'd have to think about
You'd
it
have
a
to
bit
get
more
that
to give you a good answer, to be honest.
I'm too indecisive.
Yeah, too indecisive. There we go. It takes ages to cook dinner in our house.
And that you has. Anything, you can have a think about it.
Nothing from a physical standpoint. I'd say personality-wise, now that you just said that, I think we've spoken about this, is probably anger, to be honest.
Yeah.
It kills me. I don't know what happens. I could be like the calmest person you'll ever meet, smiling, but then it's like you tip me over the edge, and I'm like the last person I ever want to see. Or, you know, I look at myself and I'm like in disgust. And that's something that I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to find ways to like mitigate that. So I think and again, it's that thing, we know we can do better, and it's wanting to do better almost instantly. That's the struggle, because I know it's going to take time. I need to work on what triggers me. That's my only issue. But physically and stuff, I've never really...
We have that in common, don't we? We've spoke about that before, haven't we?
A lot about
you know,
it.
we have that in common.
And it's not just anger, like just the odd swear, it's like rage.
It's blind rage,
Blind
and then
rage.
it's like coming round in another room, wondering what damage you've done and who you've upset, and then feeling the guilt, and it's a cycle. So yeah, we have that. So when you think of personality, there's probably a lot of traits like jealousy and envy. You know what I mean? I can be, not jealous as in, fuck me, he's had a new car and I ain't, but I don't know. I need to think of a way to word this. You know what I mean, about making myself critic.
But isn't it for like self-image, i.e., it is the image of ourself from ourself. So how we perceive ourselves is often different to how others perceive us. but how we perceive that other people perceive us is where it gets complicated. Because you think, if I do this, I'm going to look like a fool. But then you go, but if I go out there now, he's going to think I'm a fool. But you don't actually know what he thinks of you. Yeah. And that's a lot of stuff that holds us back. I'm going to ask her out. But how about if she thinks I'm a fool? How about if he thinks that she's ugly and thinks less of me for asking out her?
You're your own judge, jury and executioner, and you know that you need to not think so much.
And sometimes you just got to go. If you like her or you like that, then you should do it because you like it. Don't be worried about what she thinks. Don't worry about what he thinks of what you think of that person or of that thing. And just do it for you. Because often, as we've said a million times, you are worrying about what these other three blokes are thinking, and those three blokes couldn't give a kipper's dick about what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Stopping your own happiness.
What you just said there, there's I think it was Jay Shetty or someone. He said it when he went to the monk thing. I might butcher this, by the way, but he said, "I'm not who you think I am who you think I am." So effectively, what you just said, and it was, and the way he says it, and it just makes so much sense. So it's, again, you're thinking, what's that person thinking of me effectively? And then you start to build your own self-narrative around that. Very dangerous place to be.
It's all, like we all say, but it all boils down to your own mind then. Your own.
It, mate. You've got to control it.
Everything in life starts here. You know, it's like what they say, what you see, you think, what you think, you feel, how you feel, you act. You know, so if you're starting to see the world's version of perfection, you're starting to think that's perfection, you're starting to feel like you're not perfect, and then you're starting to act in a way that's causing depression and is causing disowning of that. So that cycle actually makes a lot of sense in that perspective.
But it's so much harder at this generation because you've got the Love Islands, you've got the Instagram, the Facebook, and we're just bombarded with these beautiful, perfect, airbrushed people, and you're thinking, well, how do I compare? Even the youngsters now watching the pornography. You know, when I was a youth, we had like the Sun, or you had you'd only have short brief hits of porn. You know, but nowadays it's everywhere, and the youngsters are growing up watching.
On Family Guy.
No, but they're watching real hardcore stuff, so they don't know what's real because we're surrounded by so much plastic nonsense. We don't know how we should conduct ourselves. Is this the right environment to be doing this? Instead of thinking, is this real or is this a movie? Is this a script? Is this someone's highlight reel that hasn't really happened?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like social media platforms and the way society is, and the kind of content that they consume at such a young age. You know, they struggle to differentiate between reality and entertainment as such. You know, like Love Islands and stuff like that. It's all been game shows, like I'll call them game shows, but reality TV shows have been around for years and years and years and decades. Yeah. The difference is you knew they were, and they're on such a platform now, and they're so idolised. It's the separation of reality to that fantasy that they're struggling with.
It's kind of like WWE when you were younger. You thought it was all real and they were going out and so you copied that, didn't you? You went out there and you were doing the moves on. It's dangerous. It was dangerous, but
you'd be told then though that it was dangerous.
Well, that's it. You'd be told that
you're not told anymore.
It's not real. They're trained athletes. They know how to land and they know how to.
It's a sport as such.
But it's right. It's as you're saying, like it's so fake, but it's so believable. Like these people now, because they're good looking and they're doing something a cheeky, they can get to be a super celebrity by not having any talent. Back in the day, you had to be, if you were a musician, you could play the guitar, you could sing. Even if you're like a
good looking being a talent there.
Yeah, even if you're like Bruce Forsyth, he was great at doing a game show, and he could hold the crowd together. You know, that was his talent, getting everyone to join forces and have a laugh. Nowadays, hi, I'm shagging him or I'm shagging her, is good enough to get you a living.
I think that's mad because like when I watch some old movies or I listen to some old singers and you watch the videos, you look at them and you think the teeth are yellow or not straight, and you think, I always say to them, listen, that would not fly in today's age. Can you imagine some of the greats that
Bob Dylan
I
and
know.
people like that, you know, who
Can you-
can't sing to save his life, but he's a brilliant musician.
I mean, even the haircuts of the Beatles, I know
Yeah.
it was a thing then,
Yeah.
but like they'd get laughed out of everywhere, and the hippie kind of ones, or
Meatloaf, people like that, you know, these people who are icons, and you're thinking, God, he's...
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy
I mean,
Osbourne.
I looked at something the other day. I know he's very, you know, he's a taste, you know, that you've got to like, I suppose. But I watched something the other day, an old interview, just must have been just after he bit the battered off, and to look at him, he's like really weird in that. But like the captions were saying, I think every one of his albums have gone platinum.
Yeah.
And you think, right, can you imagine like today's kids looking at him and he's...
But that was when it was about the music.
The art.
You'd listen, but nowadays, before MTV,
Yeah.
before you had to go, oh, he's good looking, oh, she's beautiful. It was just listen to the music and be transported, because that's what they are, they're musicians.
So that's adding to like the body dysmorphia and the thing. I mean, if you were to do a survey, I'd average, if they were brave enough to say, a good many from the age of like 15 to 25, I guarantee that they beat themselves up about.
Oh man,
You know,
I'd say
I'd say earlier
98.
than that.
Yeah,
you think?
yeah, yeah,
I mean, I look
media.
at my daughter
Yeah.
now, she's just gone 11, and she's all over TikTok and Instagram, and
yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
you see it in the way she dresses. Not
They're
that-
not kids
not
anymore,
that she
are they?
worries about the way
Yeah.
she dresses, should I say? Not that she dresses wrong,
probably,
but
yeah.
you know, she'll have 5 outfits out if we're going out, and you're going, oh, I don't know which one to have, and come down asking me, what does I want to go out? You know what I mean?
But funny though, when like you have like your baby's age and stuff, when we were
Oh, what
8,
even-
10, what do you want for Christmas? I want a He-Man. I want Turtles. I want, you know, now it's I want a Ben Sherman. One Ben Sherman I want, and you're thinking, really, you're going to go fall out of a tree? You're going to go? We don't climb out of trees. It's a £100 t-shirt. I'm not climbing no god trees.
You know, when we were kids, we used to love it when my auntie come round, because we had cousins slightly older than us. They'd come round with like 2 black bin bags full of clothes, and we'd be sitting there like 8 years, 9 years of age, thinking, can't wait for it to go.
Yeah.
Because as soon as it went bump, we was in that bag, and it was brand new. And mum and dad always did well by us. You know, I'll say one of my songs about my dad's work ethic. That's how we got fed. Hand-me-down clothes, that's how we got dressed, but dad's work ethic, that's how we got fed. And it took me until I got older to realise. But we were so excited to get these bags full of clothes off our cousins, you know what I mean? And you think, wow.
My dad was kind of the opposite to that now. So my dad will only wear designer clothes, and the reason is he had everything handed me down from his brothers. So now he's he's obviously older, and he's got the money, and he won't wear everything is designed.
See, that's stuck in his head, that is. He's
Yeah,
changed the way he's
that's
acted.
it, yeah.
That's what happens in life. Something will
There's no
happen
doubt he got
somewhere.
teased for wearing.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
Enough of that's the full circle from your teeth, my weight to the clothes. It's not the vanity. I've got to wear Armani. I've got to. It's what happened to it as a young age, or that trauma, and it is trauma. You know, sticks with you, and you want that little child or that person. Don't ever want to feel like that again.
Yeah.
So we do everything in our power to prevent it from happening.
I think it's mad how you mention your dad and say he only wears designer because he grew up on hand-me-downs. Now my dad, he was born in '62, and he'll wear trainers now until they come off his feet, until they crawl off. And he grew up, literally, he said to us, I'd grow up last up, worst dressed. And there was 8 of them, and his mum passed away when he was about 4 or 5, so his dad raised him. But last up, worst dressed, you know what I mean? He'd quite often go to school with no underwear on. Cause someone's told me, he'd probably kill me for saying it, but they did. They said to us, oh, I remember your dad, we used to call him this, that and the other, and he'd chase us around the playground until he caught us. Now, how that mad how my dad had hand-me-downs and whatever else, and he's still stuck with that, like, I don't care, I'm comfy.
It
Whereas
depends
your
how
dad saying,
it affects you mentally, doesn't
It's
it? That's
perspective
right.
again, isn't it?
a perspective.
What
yeah.
meaning you take from that circumstance effectively.
See, someone
Look at
said
it
to
from one
me
side.
about me being a brand, I mean, I'm not like that, but being a brand freak, because I always got my son the best of everything, whatever he wants he can have, and it doesn't bother me how much for a pair of trainers if he only wears them 3 months. And they said, you're a brand freak. I said, no. I said, it's about moving up a bit. I said, we grew up on hand-me-downs and Dunlop and Ascot and Airtech and High-Tech trainers, you know, so I want I want to move up. You
So
know,
you've gone in the same direction as his dad.
for my kids. I'm
That's
not-
the
Well,
same.
that's the thing, isn't
Yeah.
it?
That's very much the same with me. Like, I was more say it was my daughter's birthday the weekend, and she had these Nike Airs, and I remember these Nike Airs when I was that age, and everyone had them, I'm like, it makes me happy that she can have them, because I said to my wife, I remember my Nike Airs, and they were Woolworths specials, and you know, you used to have the air bubble thing.
Yeah.
Woolworths special, this plastic air bubble thing on the side. So it's good that we can do that, and she can have that kind of stuff. And
So when I was in Allbush getting teas, I obviously, you know, I respect my dad and that for whatever cheap trainers we had at the time. Now I respect it, but we used to have, especially this one kid, he was I think his mum was a single parent, there was on him at the time, and it was when the Puma King Astro turfs come out, the red ones and the black and gold ones and whatever else, and they'd come in these and they'd be the expensive trainers, and we'd be in like these big bloaty Dunlops, and it was just another thing from take the piss out of, you know. So, but like, I try and stay grounded. I try not to judge people on what they wear and this and that. But you don't know.
I remember having a flogging at secondary school. We'd gone to somewhere. I think it was on a school trip. It was a school trip. We'd gone to Drayton Manor, and we'd taken our, you know, when you take your packed lunch, and my mum had put it in a Netto bag.
Oh, in
And it was just, it's one of them things. She didn't think, I didn't think, you know, we'd just been shopping. Then you get there, you're on the bus, and you go, oh, fucking starving. What do you want? And you go, and they go, Netto. And look, back in the day, Netto, Aldi.
Aldi was the same, wasn't
It was the same.
Aldi
but
was
now-
like-
everyone goes
but everyone
Best
knows
place
it.
ever.
But if you think back then, and it wasn't that, well, it is 20 years ago. I was going to say that long ago, but when we were all kids and a lot of the people, if you were caught shopping at Aldi, Netto, it was, oh my God. Nowadays, everyone's after a bargain.
Absolutely.
Back then, it was almost embarrassing to go, huh, you've paid.
well, it was for kids.
know-
it was. I'm sure the adults at that time didn't.
Don't give a
were-
shit,
You know, when my mum and dad
I'm doing
used to walk
shopping,
down the road,
filling the fridge.
my mum and dad used to walk down the road with Aldi bags, and we used to say, Mum, couldn't you have got some Aldi bags? They
Yeah.
put the Aldi bags in.
Yeah.
You know, and my dad always said, if you're hungry, you ain't it.
Yeah.
If it's that bad, don't eat it. You know what I mean? Like, that was the mentality. You know, now, it's a premium brand.
Yeah.
It's a...
Do you know what's mad just on that point though? So I did the same thing. Everyone was scared of Aldi bags. We didn't want to wear them. But basically, it's because of somebody else has said something.
Yeah.
Because most likely, I mean, I remember myself. It was my cousin's sister at that point. She made a comment about Aldi. So I used to think in my head, if my cousins ever come around or they find out,
Oh,
you know, we
the
eat at Aldi, I was like, Mom, this is the end of my life. So I used to say to Mom, we can't have these beans because apparently it's all tomato sauce and there's no actual beans in there, and all these rumours going around. But it could just be that one opinion that would effectively change the way that you move through life. And again, it comes down to perspective, so it's dangerous. So you probably heard somebody else say it, and it's just stuck in your head. And
I think Aldi rhymed with Maldi, and that my mum shops at Aldi, and that was the thing back then. And kids were cruel. Kids still am cruel. You know, even to me, we did a music day Friday at Choice School. It was a really good day. That wasn't cruel, but you could see how.
You little bastards.
That wasn't too cruel. But you can see. I mean, just to observe them in their own little habitat, you can see how, like, the society's thing can divide them.
Yeah.
So, like you say, if you hear someone saying this perspective on that, then you think, okay, that's an embarrassment, and then it becomes what you call it.
If you think at that age, you're like a little sponge, so you don't know fact from fiction. So if someone says, if you have that, you're a scrubber, you go, how do you know? You don't go like, how do you know? You just go, really? And you go, yeah, how come? Because my big brother said, well, it must be fucking fact.
That's the thing as well. You actually listen to those people, like you
it's
think
the
you're your
gospel.
best friends. You know.
If you do that, all the girls are like it, or you've got a girlfriend. I have got a girlfriend. If you open your bag of crisps upside down, it means you've got a girlfriend. And it's those little things. It's funny, you know, saying that. Even to this day, if I go to don't open the bag of crisps upside down.
hey, you've been affected.
No, but it's funny.
That one up.
I remember first if you open it upside down, you got a girlfriend. What a silly thing to say. But you go, I haven't. I'll open my bag of crisps the right way.
You're 16 and you're opening them all upside down. I hope I've got a girlfriend.
It's funny once 16, but it's what that person says who has no power.
After primary school, you never see them again.
Yeah, precisely. Or really, who gives a kid a stick what he thinks, what his family does, but that comes with maturity.
Yeah.
But at 10, 11, 12,
Yeah, it's
13,
the end
14,
of the
15,
world.
16, 18, 21, you know, you really care about what your peers
Because you're
think.
finding yourself.
You're finding yourself.
And once you get to a point where you think I'm 31, I'm never going to find myself.
No,
they
give
can
up on
think,
that.
they can think what they want. You know, because you're trying to establish yourself as, especially being a male as well. I don't know how the females handle it, but especially being a male, you're trying to establish yourself as a male, that dominant species. That you don't want anything that's going to undermine you as a man, which is ridicule. You know, that's the big version of undermining, though, isn't it? You know, and I think that's the reason why. But it all boils down to perspective. So if you were going to say something to people for them to take something away from this, what would it be?
The past is the past. You know, I think of like my experiences. Don't carry them in a rucksack. Don't feel like you've got to carry everything you've been through with you. Take it off, put it in the shed, so you know where it is. So all these things that we've been through, be them good or bad or traumatic or exciting, they're in the shed. But I haven't got to carry them with me. So all it does, it wears you down.
That's a good one.
Anything else off anyone else?
No, I think that's pretty much it. And like you say, being back to like the body dysmorphia, it's about finding, like you said, it's about carving your own perception and not listening to, because a good many people that ridicule you for how you look and what you're wearing and where you shop and this and the other, a good many of them will say it in that moment and not give you a second thought. You know, so,
And you want to know something great? As much as they're teasing you, they're probably fucked up themselves.
Absolutely, that's the problem.
you see that on so many movies, isn't it? You know, like where it's they being ridiculed and they being somewhere along the line. They might just need a hug.
Yeah.
So if they're taking a piece out of you, just give them a hug.
Yeah.
So, that's been wonderful, boys. Won't have a quote today because I think we just left you on a couple. So, until next week, gang, ta-ra a bit.
Listen.
And that's a wrap for another show. But if there are any comments or messages that you would like us to read out for our next podcast, please be in touch. There are also lots of different organisations at the bottom of this page, and hopefully they can help you or someone you care about. Please share this to spread the word. Until we talk next time, ta-ra a bit.
Listen.